Once upon a time, a handsome prince set out for a hunting expedition with his soldiers. As they ventured deep into a dense, dark forest, the prince became separated from his entourage. Lost and disoriented, he wandered deeper into the forest, where he eventually collapsed from exhaustion and injury. As night fell, a beautiful, enchanting young woman appeared. She cared for him with tender compassion, tending to his wounds and providing him with nourishment. After he regained his strength, she vanished without a trace. The prince, bewildered and desperate, searched for her throughout the forest for days on end, leaving behind his kingdom and everything he knew, but his efforts were in vain. One day, while exploring the forest, the prince stumbled upon an old, decrepit cottage. Inside, an old, haggard woman sat, weaving wool. The prince approached her, asking about the mysterious woman who had saved him. The old woman remained silent at first but then spoke, saying that if he truly wanted to find her, he must climb to the top of the mountain and retrieve the rare moonflower. He was to plant it deep in the forest, and when it bloomed, it would reveal the location of the beautiful woman. The old woman explained that the young woman was cursed by an evil sorceress and could only be freed if a handsome prince planted the moonflower in the heart of the forest. Determined, the prince climbed the treacherous mountain and, after a fierce battle with a fierce guardian spirit, succeeded in obtaining the flower. Returning to the forest, the prince faced numerous challenges: treacherous terrain, wild beasts, and harsh weather. Despite these obstacles, he persevered and finally reached the designated spot. He planted the moonflower and set up a tent nearby to protect it from the elements, eagerly awaiting its bloom. Exhausted from his efforts, the prince fell asleep. When he awoke, he found that the moonflower had disappeared. Overwhelmed by despair, he cried out in frustration. Suddenly, he heard a melodious voice singing softly from behind a tree. Following the sound, he discovered the young woman, now adorned with the moonflower as a crown. Her eyes sparkled with love and gratitude, and the prince's heart soared with joy. He embraced her, quenching his thirst for her presence and celebrating their reunion. The prince took her back to his kingdom, where he asked for her hand in marriage. They lived happily ever after, their love flourishing in a land freed from the curse.